Today we're going to be talking about foundations of education and different important historical aspects and really just the background and history of education and our education system today. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is there's three different things that have an impact on schooling, and that's economy, the state, and the community. So schooling and economy, the big thing that is important is when the economy is better, it becomes more productive when students are well educated, and whenever they're well educated, in turn, it helps the community because they're getting these jobs and they're making money, which also helps boost the economy. So within the schooling and the state, economic growth is directly related to skills of the workforce, and within that, it's heavily dependent on the state schools. So whenever the state is doing better with the workforce, that also has an impact on the state schools. And schooling in the community, so when schools place a value on the community, which is also the students that they're reaching, in turn, it helps the students perform better. And I know this firsthand when schools hold events and they're really investing in the community, parents want to be involved, and they want to be involved in their child's schoolwork, and in turn that helps their student perform better in school. So knowledge. What is knowledge? It's a very broad term, and I like to think of knowledge as facts, skills, and information that is acquired through experiences or education. So as teachers, we have the ability to help students gain knowledge, and then they come to us with prior knowledge and prior experiences, which helps them build upon their knowledge. So constructed knowledge, essentially, it's built on prior knowledge. They're constructing it, they're creating it. Transmitted knowledge, that's sharing information from the teacher to the student when we think of education. So a big thing today is school reform. There are a lot of things that need to be changed to help schools transform into a better environment for their students. So key approaches to reform and transformation are effective research-based methods, professional development for the teachers and the staff, support within the school, and that's a very big one, and then parental and community involvement. So whenever you think of who is going to benefit and who does benefit from these approaches to reform, a lot of the times it's the wealthier school districts and communities, and that's essentially because there's more money being put into the schools, and there's more resources available to the students. So assessment and instruction is a big part of teachers' daily life. It's always, how are you going to assess the student on the lesson, and how does that cater your instruction? So essentially, instruction is catered to the assessment. So when there are different assessments for the students, like in Virginia, the SOLs, teachers are essentially teaching to the test. And we like to think of assessments as not the end-all, be-all, but essentially it kind of, as teachers, we kind of forget that, and we think we need our students to do well in the testing, so that kind of hurts our education system, essentially. And then also tracking students based on their assessment results is proven that it's not beneficial. So there are a lot of things that, as educators, that we definitely need to relook at and take a better look at, just to change for our students. So the structure and function of education, there's one big thing called school choice, and within that, parents essentially have the ability to choose where their students go, or where their child goes to school, and they have the choice of charter schools, homeschooling, and then also, depending on if they qualify, they can use vouchers, and it depends on their income level, if they have a disability. There are different factors that are included in the vouchers. And then, so one article discussed different functions of education and essentially broke it down into 3 things. So one function is socialization. So students go to school and they're learning these skills that are going to be used later on in life when they get a job. Another thing is transmission of culture, and that's a big thing because we live in a very diverse country, and when students come to the table with different cultures, it really helps the other students learn more about different cultures. And then the biggest thing is really just preparation for their future. So they're learning these skills, they're learning different math things that they won't necessarily use later on, but they're learning these skills to help prepare them for the future and when they graduate and if they decide to go to college. So a brief history of American education. There's a big thing on political goals of education, and it's really focusing on creating better citizens in the United States and teaching students what they can do upon graduation, how they can become better citizens. And then also political beliefs have been a controversial topic, especially nowadays, whether or not you do teach different things about it and what you can and can't say. And there are a lot of impactful movements and laws. One big one being Brown versus Board of Education, and that's the desegregation in schools. And then also Individuals with Disabilities Education and Improvement Act, and that's for students with disabilities coming to school and having the right to an education. And then another one is No Child Left Behind, and that has to do with preparing the teachers and making sure that they're qualified teachers to help the students do the best they can. And in turn, when you have well-educated teachers from good teacher education programs, it helps the students do better. So the teacher's role, like in the previous slide with No Child Left Behind, that's requiring highly qualified teachers, and that's a very important aspect of education now. Another one is Race to the Top, that evaluates teachers' education programs and the students' test scores. And then another Professional Characteristics and Dispositions, and I know in the Radford University Education Program, that's a big thing. The PC&D, in all of our classes, our professors evaluate us on that because they want us to be prepared for being a teacher and in the education system. They want us to be professional. And 3 big things with the Professional Characteristics and Dispositions are subject knowledge, so knowing what you're teaching, teacher-student relationship, and building that classroom environment where students want to participate, and then also commitment. So if teachers aren't committed, they're not going to have great student outcomes. So as teachers, we need to be committed to what we're doing and love what we're doing. So to close it, so why are all these things important to know? So the big thing is it's good to gain a better understanding of the history behind education. It also helps you become more aware of different issues in education and act on those issues. And it gives you ways that you can change things and make a difference for your classroom when you do get a teaching job. And here are my references. Thank you.